It's the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia, with your host, Bob Snap.
Hi guys, welcome to the Andy Griffith Show, Facts and Trivia. Thank you for stopping by. Today's video, Otis the Drunk. You guys remember him? 10 sobering facts about Hal Smith and his Andy Griffith Show character. And we'll get started with, was he a lovable kook? The Andy Griffith Show has begun to develop. Producer Sheldon Leonard was determined to find a lovable kook. Characters to surround leading man Andy Griffith and Mayberry. In each case, the actor was told it might be a one-off part, maybe lasting for only 1 or 2 episodes, he said. But when the chemistry worked, as it did with Barney Fife and Otis and Floyd the Barber, Sheldon or producer Aaron Rubin would sweep in and tell the actor that the part might just work out. That being said, it's his feelings that Otis was a bit of a risky character. Already in the 60s, devised muses, Hollywood was starting to get sensitive about the idea of milking a person's alcoholism for humor. Hal later recalled that someone from General Foods, the show's sponsor, lobbied the studio to fire the character, but the showrunners insisted on keeping him and stood up to the sponsor. In 1964, the Tampa Bay Times offered up a profile of Hal Smith in which they provided a bit of history for the Otis character based on the actor's point of view. Otis is a picked-on kind of guy who is not understood by his wife, hence he hits the bottle. The missus doesn't allow Otis around the house when he's sozzled, so the jail becomes his second home. Hal Smith felt that Otis was a dignified drunk. It's the best kind of drunk a man can be. Pays well, and you never get a hangover. I do a show on the average of once every 3 weeks, and I think that's good. The town drunk could get obnoxious. I'm sorry. One case, Hal Smith was apparently a negative influence. Alan Newsom is the host of Mayberry podcast, 2 Chairs No Waiting. He did an interview with focused on Hal Smith. First thing he points out is that the actor was not a drinker beyond, perhaps in a social situation. I wanted to mention that, he explains, because one of the stories I'm fixing to tell you about is actually related to that. There was a great book published called More Than Otis, No Bull, a salute to Hollywood actor Hal Smith. It's written by John Mashad III. It's got some nice articles in here, and I wanted to read just a little bit out of one of them. It's called The Price of Fame, where he had talked to Hal Smith and got his information. Becoming a success in Hollywood can be a blessing or a curse to personalities portraying characters, he reads from the book. After Hal appeared in the Andy Griffith Show as lovable Otis Campbell, he discovered a world of typecasting and is sometimes irritated by people criticizing his character. I was in a hardware store one time and my son Terry was there with me, he said. There was a guy looking through some nuts and bolts and stuff. And he looked up at me and said, "Oh, you're the guy from the Andy Griffith Show. I hate you." Hal said to him, "Wait a minute, what do you mean?" He explained to Hal that his brother became an alcoholic after seeing Otis drunk on his episode of Andy Griffith Show. "You caused my brother to drink. He saw you drinking and he wanted to do it because of you." Smith, he says, defended himself, emphasizing that Otis had never been filmed drinking out of a bottle of any sort. In fact, the only time the audience ever saw him drink anything was when they gave him something to sober him up. Otis the Drunk had a negative impact on Hal Smith's son. Newsom explains the character also affected the life of his only son, Terry. They used to call him Little Otis at Brentwood Academy. He never really liked that. When I took him home to school, the other kids gave me funny looks. I didn't know if they thought I was an actor or a drunk, said Hal Smith. Finally, one day, a kid asked Terry, "Is your dad Otis? Is he a method actor?" Terry replied, "Yes, he practices every Saturday night." Hal Smith Day, the town where he grew up, was seen in New York in 1964, paid tribute to him in Hal Smith Day. Journalist and author Lawrence Gooley wrote an in-depth profile of the actor, and described the event. Virtually every business and every family in town became involved in the planning, he noted. With such crowds expected that tickets and reservations for many events were in hot demand. Included in the festivities were a group breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a royal welcome that featured a crown made of what else? Aluminum from the local plant, a visit to the hospital where he entertained patients, an autograph session at a vacant store transformed by area merchants into a replica of the Mayberry jail, all-day limousine service, band music at several venues, the theater playing movies that Hal appeared in, and autographs for each attendee, a reunion with old class schoolmates, and induction as a member of the St. Regis Indians, and as a Highland Hotel at night, Hal appeared in the floor show. Embracing his inner Otis the Drunk. By the 80s, said Newsom, Hal had learned to accept the popularity of Otis. He began to attend Mayberry reunions, did national Mad commercials, signed autographs, and attended charity shows. He said it took me some time to get away from playing a lot of drunk roles. I was paid good for them. People today love the character in the show. It's unbelievable. They come up to you and they want to hug you. I enjoy making people happy as Otis. Otis in Return to Mayberry. Hal Smith was offered the opportunity to reprise the character in the 1986 TV movie Return to Mayberry. Only at that point, Otis had cleaned up his act and was driving an ice cream truck. The ongoing legacy of Hal Smith. Otis the Drunk. Hal Smith married to Louise C. Smith from 1936 until her death in 92. Died on January 28, 1994 at the age of 77 of a heart attack. It's been 30 years, yet the character he played and the show itself continues to live on. Broadly speaking, Otis the Drunk was one of the several comedy characters orbiting around Andy, the normal straight man, points out Daniel Devise. But Otis also served a more specific purpose. Here's something I wrote in Andy and Dawn. Hal and Otis, the Drunk, were more than a running gag. His very presence in the jail and his ready access to the keys reminded viewers of Mayberry's essential benevolence, just like Barney having only one bullet that he wasn't supposed to actually use, and Aunt Bee showing up at lunchtime with a picnic basket full of food. In the end, I think Otis was strong enough character to become something of an archetype, like Floyd the bumbling barber and Gomer the oafish mechanic. Enthused Hal Smith at one point. It was a great role, and I loved every minute of it. And there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this. A couple things, though. Actually, there was a time or two that he did drink from the bottle. It didn't happen often, but I think twice. It's just how you can blame an actor for something someone else did. That's like, my brother was an alcoholic because he saw you drinking on TV. Come on. Crazy. Anyway, please don't forget about Classic Rule Comedies, Facts, and Trivia. It's 11 things you might not know about Mama's Family. Remember that? Classic TV, Facts, and Trivia is on Mr. Jim Backus, who played Mr. Howe and Mr. Magoo. Classic Rock, Country Music, Facts, and Trivia. What caused Buddy Holly's plane to crash? We know. And Faith and Entertainment, The Passion of Christ almost killed Jim Caviezel, the guy who played Jesus in it. Please subscribe if you have not yet. Please like this video. You guys have a great day. God bless you. I'm praying for you.